Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me here today on our Mindset and Motivation Monday. I just spent an amazing weekend. Hopefully you got my Sunday Rewind email just a couple weeks back, but hopefully you got that because, you know, I share a lot with you what's going on in personal life and kind of my overall thoughts and meanderings after a couple days off for the weekend. And that particular weekend I spent in Miami, Florida, on spring break, as I like to joke around with my wife. And she literally is laughing at me as I'm saying that I'm going on spring break, which of course I was not going on spring break for anybody who does think that. But I actually had some really fun business meetings in Miami, Florida, because we have this new app that will be debuting in about a month from now. And it's going to be absolutely game changing. I don't want to go into in depth on it now, but essentially what it's doing is it's revolutionizing its ability to update your nutrition and the restaurants that you can eat at and give you the specific meals you can choose at that restaurant, all based on your protocol or whatever your goals are. So there's a lot of people within the health community and fitness community that want to partner with us on using this technology that we have to be able to help their members, of course, reach their wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging goals. So I was there just in casual meetings, just enjoying time with about 4 or 5 other people that wanted to improve the lives of so many people around the world. And so it's funny because we're inside, we're having meetings, and outside at the pool, there's like 1,000 people at these 3 different pools. You know, they're having a great time, we'll put it that way. But, you know, when I was there, I had the opportunity to also listen in on a speaker who was doing this tour. And he gave this chat about essentially non-negotiable minutes. And this speaker is about 55 years old. He has older children in their mid-20s to later 20s. And he also has younger children, some are around my daughter's age as well, below 10 years old. And what he started to talk about was him looking at life differently with his second marriage and with his 2 younger children. And what he realized was that he made a lot of mistakes the first time around, and he wasn't ashamed to admit them. And he said, I wasn't the best husband. I wasn't the best father. I was so consumed in these different activities that I lost track of essentially my minutes. And how he looks at life now is very different. And I took a lot from that because he said, listen, I get asked all the time about doing this and this and this and this, and I have to say no a lot of the time. And he said, it's not that I want to be rude or I want to turn down opportunities or people, but I have to be very selective. Because when you choose your priorities in life, you know what comes first. So if you know what comes first because you've set your priorities, which means you have your goals are your priorities are your goals, then you know if something is taking away your minutes, which enables you to achieve a goal, which is your priority, you have to say no. Because if you don't say no, you're saying no to your goals and your priorities and what you want your life to be. Because at the end of the day, what you prioritize gets done. So if you say yes to other things, that doesn't allow you to get done what you want in your life in order to move it forward in the trajectory that you're looking for to achieve your dreams, well, you're saying no to yourself and whatever else it is that you hold valuable. And for a lot of us, that's our loved ones, our family, maybe our children, maybe our partner, our spouse. But when I start to look at the statistics, I start to realize that there are also these phases of life. And of course, I've spoken about these things on specific topics, and I'm happy to share those different shows with you. But the stat that always comes back to me, and again, I think for whatever reason, I take this a little bit more to heart than maybe other people. And I don't know why that is, right? Sometimes, we're all individuals. But for me, I go back to this statistic that you will have spent 91% of the time with your children by the time they reach age 12. Now, the first time I read that statistic, I said, you know what, that sounds crazy, right? That sounds crazy. That's not possible, you know? And then I started thinking about it, I'm like, oh, right, because then they're teenagers after that. And really once you get to maybe not 8th grade, but definitely in high school, I was at high school, like I was at school all day, right? So I leave my house maybe 7 in the morning, Okay, my parents were getting ready for work. And then I'm at school until what time do you get out? 2:15, 2:30, somewhere around there. Okay, but then I played sports after school. So I was there until 5:30 at night when my parents picked me up. Had to finish up some schoolwork, whatever it was. We'd have dinner maybe 6:30 or so, done with dinner around 7:30. I don't know what time I was going to bed, but let's say it was, 9:30, family's cleaning up. How much time do you have with your child? Maybe an hour, right? On the weekdays. Then I don't know. Again, I don't know about you, but on the weekends, I hung with my friends, at least Friday night and all day Saturday. So it's something to think about that at least for a certain phase of life, you've got your quality time with your children. So if your kids are under the age of 12 right now, and again, it's different priorities because some people are trying to do something life-changing with their career or their work or a nonprofit or literally like an invention. I mean, I know people doing this and they realize the trade-off and they're willing to make the trade-off. Now they still see their family, still see their kids, but they for them, this is the trade-off they've made. Again, I don't pass any judgment because I don't think anybody has like the exact answer about how to do this life, right? All I can do is try to do my best. And for me, I always look at what would I regret. Even more so than what do I want to achieve, I look at what would I regret not doing. And I would simply regret not having that 10-year focus time, like between the ages of 2. Of course, I was there for my girls when they were young and they were bored, but between like 2 and 12, right? It's like, I need to try to find that balance. And so for me, what does it mean? Well, it's essentially non-negotiables. Hope for dinner, where we are together as a family from essentially 5:30 until when my daughters go to bed, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. Okay. And then the weekends are off. Now, there's always, again, exceptions to every rule. I do have to travel for my work. Part of my work is speaking. I love to be able to speak, share what I know, and I don't want to stop all of that for a period of 10, 12 years. So again, there's a balance to everything. But then if other activities come up, I get asked to do podcast interviews at night. I get asked to do a lot of team meetings at night. I'm sorry, but that right there, unless it's a must do every once in a while, again, there are exceptions. That's my family's dinner time together and our quality time after that. Hanging out, talking, playing cards. My daughters put on dance shows and, they're doing plays, they're reciting their plays from school, like all sorts of fun stuff. And that's, again, when you're in the moment, like, all right. But at the same time, those are the moments that you will look back on saying, wow, I wish I got maybe just a little bit more of that. So that's how I look at it. But again, people can say that with career, like between the ages of 25 and 55, that is your time to really push. Or you might even say, hey, before in your 20s, that's the time to take risks with more careers and jobs and to work more hours. And so again, I'm not here to necessarily tell you how to live your life or what to prioritize and what season you're in or what phase of your life that you're in, but I do need you to be self-aware of what's important and that phase of life doesn't always last forever. I mean, I always think about like athletics. Okay, well, athletics, you have your teenage years and just being athletic in general and like playing sports and stuff. You've got your 20s and probably like your 30s. And again, don't get me wrong. I still know a couple of buddies of mine that are in men's league basketball, that are in men's league hockey, that play softball and like different things like that. And although softball is a little bit more relaxed and of course golf and all that, but to play competitive men's league hockey, competitive men's league basketball, you're moving, right? You've got to be able to take care of your body, and that's important. But at the same time, still to play those into your 50s and 60s is not as common, right? It's certainly less than 1%. So you say, okay, well, maybe again, I can't do this forever. Why don't I enjoy it until I am 45, 50 years old, whatever that number might be, 55 for some people. So again, I'm going back to oftentimes we wait until that phase is over to say, I wish I did more of that. I didn't know how fun that was. I didn't know in the moment how enjoyable it was, or I didn't know how much I would miss it. And oftentimes it's just the experience of it. It may not be the the men's league basketball game or the hockey game or the softball game, but it's the afterwards, hanging out with your buddies, your friends, the camaraderie there, right? That time away for yourself. Same with your kids. Again, your kids they can be frustrated. They can be, annoying at times, but in the moment, yes. But in the overall grand scheme of things, I just know that a lot of people would want some of those days back. They just would, especially in their younger years, not necessarily just as grandparents, but grandparents is another phase, right? So what I say to you is this. Simply don't make a list of 100 things that are your priorities. That's the problem. I used to do that. I'm like, no exaggeration. There was this recommendation, and I'm in my 20s, when I learned about this, because I was really getting into the overall, law of attraction and making what you want of your life. And I believe that. I absolutely believe it. The problem was I was saying, okay, well, this is great. These are all the things that I want to do with my life. And it was like this 100 days and 100 different items. And it was so much, it was overwhelming. And it was more of a to-do list than really a priority list. What I recommend now to people is 1, 2, 3 things. That's it. Like 3 maximum. And I oftentimes try to pull them from different areas of life. And I've shows in that, so I'll certainly link those up. But one show that I believe that you absolutely should listen to is a show that I have called My Non-Negotiables. And it's not because I want you to have the same non-negotiables as me in life, but you have to create your own. You must have a set of non-negotiables. So non-negotiables that came up this month and next month as well. I got the opportunity, and I'm very grateful for it, to be able to speak at about 6 different events. But I don't travel more than once, maximum twice a month, maximum 3 days at a time. So I'm actually, one of those was a great opportunity. So I'm flying to California, literally flying in 1 full day on Wednesday to fly there, because it's not easy going East Coast to West Coast, especially with layovers. And then I have an all-day recording session, and then I fly home the next day. It's a lot of travel time, but I could extend it. I could make more, but I'm not. It's 3 days because that's a commitment I made to one of my non-negotiables, which is my family, which is my children and my wife. So again, when I look back at that and I understand that my top non-negotiable is making sure that I don't miss out on this time with my children, it's easy. Then the answers are easy. And then also with work, with what I do for work, I get often opportunities, which again, I'm grateful for, to, hey, try this or meet with this person or partner in this. And oftentimes it's a no because we know our mission. We know what we're looking to achieve. Now, sometimes it's a yes, for sure, because it has to align with what my priorities are, which is helping people customize a personal protocol for them. And it's to understand that you can achieve any of your wellness, weight, or anti-aging goals. You can. You just haven't got there yet because you don't know actually what to do. And most likely, the person you're working with can't tell you exactly what to do either if you've never lab tested, done an at-home lab test for your deficiencies or toxicities. It's nearly impossible because all you're doing is guessing. And I know this from experience. I saw over 24 of the top minds in Boston in terms of health. They didn't know what to do. Once I got the proper lab tests, then we knew what to do. It just took me years to be able to know they even existed. Now, again, more people are learning about it, but there's a lot more marketing out there than is actually, there's a lot more fluff than there is actually fact. So you have to be very careful who you begin working with. So I have a mission to make sure that people can reach an integrative health practitioner, that they can reach people to be able to help with those at-home labs. So one last point I wanted to share with you here today. All of this can seem very complicated, but it doesn't have to be, because you're only choosing a certain set of non-negotiables, and then they dictate your yeses or nos. So it's a simple yes or no. Okay, I have 2 travels booked for this month. A third one comes up, it's a no. Or it's a, can we schedule it 2 months from now when I don't have any travel? Okay, I'll take 3 days to go to that event if it is a priority. And again, if the event can't be moved, I totally understand, but maybe it's a recording. Maybe it's an in-person. Maybe it's something like that. Okay, then it's a no now, or it's a maybe, can't do it this month, but let's move to a couple months from now. And you might be able to do the same. I'm not telling you that you can't accomplish everything that you want in your life. You can. But you have to look at it as, hey, what do the next 12 weeks look at? So we just moved through our first 12-week year. And if you've never heard about my 12-week year, I base it around Brian Moran's work called The 12-Week Year, the book. And I will link all of these up today. So I don't always do a lot of links for Mindset and Motivation Mondays, but I need to link up a few. So today's podcast is at stephencabral.com/2250. stephencabral.com/2250. And I invite you to head over there now. And the reason is I'm going to link up a few podcasts. The 12-week year, the non-negotiables, and I always want to link up that one, the missing 6 hours per day. And the reason is that we don't have a lot of extra free time a day, but we actually have some. And the problem is we don't necessarily prioritize that time or schedule our time based on a calendar instead of a to-do list. So I'll link up that one last show, which is throw away your to-do list and use this instead. That's based on a calendar. I live by my calendar. It is not confining, it is freeing. I've set up my 12-week year. I prioritize the 1, 2, 3 things that I necessarily want to achieve. Those are the bigger goals. And then I break them down by month and then by week. I know that I've hitting my daily and weekly actions, right? Because the only way you move forward is by action. Thinking about it is great. Visualizing about it is great. I believe in those. That's where you start. You think, you feel, you contemplate, and then you plan. Once you plan, you then have to take action. It is the action which moves you forward in life. I believe it is the action you take which shows the world around you that you are confident in your beliefs. You are confident in your conviction. You're confident in yourself that you can make it happen. The world will meet you halfway. You've got to make it, though, that halfway. Schedule it, live it, breathe it, believe it, and you can achieve it. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate you. Of course, if I can help, always feel free to write in. I'll do my best. And you can find all today's links at stephencabral.com/2250.